All right, welcome back. That was Evidence with track 13 off his new album. I know y'all couldn't really hear anything.
And that's where we'll jump in. We'll actually jump in right there. Evidence, as we said, new album out. It's called Cats and Dogs. Done lots of projects. The list is amazing of who he's worked with. Has a Grammy. If we're going to go jump into that track number 13, sort of explain how that happened on Cats and Dogs.
I just wanted to leave it out. I just felt like no one's ever had a blank track 13 before. There's no 13th Street, a lot of buildings. There's no 13th floor. I figured just do something creative. I'm not a Mason. Don't worry about
it. Okay. Evidence. We sort of know how you got your name. There's a lot of stuff on the internet that's like floating around for our fans of our show who probably don't know how the name came about, and actually for us too, because we know one story, but you kind of tell it in a song of how you got your name. Tell us how you got your name.
I was switching names a lot at that time, trying to find one. Thought of Evident, and I was doing a song with my friend Will1X, and now Will I Am. I told him my new name, and he kind of misunderstood it. Shouted me out on the song and said I'm down with Evident, and I just didn't really correct him.
We read that, and I was like, that's pretty crazy that you were working with Will I Am back in the day. Was that before, like, you got with Dilated Peoples and all that?
Yeah. Well, my first demos.
We know you have a pretty unique style. You have many nicknames, and one of them's Mr. Slow Flow. Where'd you come up with your style from? Because I feel like a lot of guys now try to rap fast because they believe if I rap fast, people think I'm saying something.
Yeah, I don't have anything against rapping fast. I think it's dope as long as it's tangible. Sometimes people go over your head a little bit. I'm not mad at that either. I think do what you do well. I think it is harder to rap slower than people might think. Every word is exposed and kind of have to stick behind the beat, which takes patience and room. And people just made me that from, I guess, just what I was doing. But as a negative, I just kind of embraced it. Not every rap is a slow, but I just like to be heard, and I travel around the world a lot, and places where we perform where English is not first language people speak, if at all, definitely helps me, outside of America a lot, digest what I'm saying maybe a little easier than somebody who's going at them with a machine gun kind of rap. Yeah. I ain't mad at it either. It's all good.
Mr. Slow Flow is probably not even the best way to describe it. Probably like Mr. I think before I say what I'm going to say, probably the better way to say it. 2007, you released The Weatherman, and then 4 years later now you release Cats and Dogs. Explain sort of the time that's happened in between there, and then tell us if this is sort of a series that you want to do with Weatherman being about the weather, Cats and Dogs being like raining cats and dogs. Is this sort of a series that you wanted to do?
Well, I dropped Weatherman March 2007. I dropped The Layover in November 25th, actually, so really like December of 2008. I toured that. It was an EP, but I had a video for a lot of the songs, and people took it a little more serious than I thought. That was good. And then I dropped The Layover mixtape with DJ Ski shortly after that. That was like my first mixtape with like a mixtape DJ, so to speak. So that was dope. And then I dropped I Don't Need Love 3 EP December 10th, 2010, and then I dropped this, whatever I did, a couple of weeks ago, 2011. My second album, but been pretty active and keeping fans busy with Serial. I got with Rhymesayers in the end of 2009 and made the adjustment over there, figured out some business stuff. It took a little longer than expected, but sometimes it be like that. Now that I got this out, I'm definitely going to keep the ball rolling. A Dilated record and another Evidence record, Step Brothers record with Alchemist, breaking some ground and good awareness.
You spoke about the Step Brothers record, and read about the directors of photography that you and Dilated Peoples are doing. Do y'all have any specific time you want to release that? Because I know y'all been working on them.
The Dilated deal, we're just getting the deal right. And once we do that, a lot more will unfold, and that's going to be a good decision, I think. And Step Brothers, it'll just me. I'm at Alchemist right now. It's just we make music every day, what we do. So when we have time to promote it, we have enough music to bottle up and call an album. That's what we'll do. And that's that.
You sort of come up in the rap game from a long time ago. I mean, you've been in this for a little while. Have you seen it shift? How has it shifted to you as sort of like a really since back in the 80s rap to now? And I mean sort of like the digital process of CD components to now everything's on the internet, to that entire thing, to social media, to everything.
Well, when we came out with our first album in the 2000s, still cassette, amazing.
Yeah.
And our second album came out end of 2001, and I think we had a cassette for that too. Third album, 2004, it was gone. Formats and what you play music on and all that stuff, you can be attached to it because it's sentimental and stuff, but it will constantly change to maybe going away. There'll always be vinyl, or there'll be somebody who wants CDs or 8 tracks or tapes as a novelty, and that's cool, but I always just love the music. I'm not so in love with any way that you get it. I think it's nostalgic and dope. all that. Things move on. As far as like how it's applied to the industry and everything, I mean, it just evolves. People are on the net versus pressing vinyl and going to fat beats and making videos to YouTube, but it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just further along. And yeah, I mean, good music is good music, and it gets through regardless of the format that it's on or what technology is or isn't available.
Do you think it's easier to like get on now since we have Twitter and Facebook and all that, and they can just put their music online instead of having to, I guess, put effort forth and go to radio stations and try to get them to play your demo and all that?
Yes and no. I mean, sure. I mean, anyone can load a video, but then the person who loads the video now appreciates where the million YouTube hits is, and then they see that they have 600 and they got a long way to go. Or it's still, it levels the playing field, and that's cool, but you can still see who's making noise and who's not. I like YouTube could be wrong, but for me, it seems like the most honest gauge of clicks. And, I can't, no disrespect, I can't trust WorldStar or anything like that.
Yeah.
40 million views, and then you go to YouTube and they have 1,000. I kind of just look at that as a gauge. You can see how much people are commenting or how much love and hate they have and arguments and dialogue. And, I mean, it's just another gauge. I think it's good. I think it's good that you can do that.
We've had the album for a couple of weeks. We appreciate the crew that sent it out to us. We've listened to it, and it's one of those albums that if some of our fans of our show might not know that, I mean, you can't just listen to once and just begin to gauge it. You've got to give it a couple listens. You've got to turn it over a few times. We've done that both. We both have agreements and disagreements on songs that we like. I personally, I love track number 3, The Red Carpet. I'll get into sort of the track listing and how you got some people. The Red Carpet and I Don't Need Love are two of my favorites. Sort of explain how those concepts came about for you.
Red Carpet was just like a beat, sounded like a grand entrance kind of thing. Call it that. And in my verses, the gold carpet with the red tint. I just kind of had that idea. The verse was really long, so I wasn't knowing what to do with it at first. Do I do another long one and make it like 2 long verses? Or I didn't really know what to do. It was just sitting like that for a while. But everyone I played it for was really open off the verse and the beat. So I felt like it was definitely something worth keeping. And then Raekwon was over at Alchemist, and I was there. I gave him the beat. It ended up being the scroll on the Fallon versus Wu-Tang. And then I just asked him to jump on my and he did. Pay him a couple joints with some options. He liked that one the best. He listened to my rhyme a couple times and then laid down what he thought. Had it going from there. So then I just figured make it something epic and get West Coast. He wanted to be on the record on the album too. And being over at Alice, I was just like, we gotta figure this out. Put him on that. Long song, but everyone's going in and it's not like everyone's like trying to battle everybody. It seems like everyone's just speaking about. It's kind of like the fact that it's a lot of different rappers wouldn't necessarily be on a track, and we're not all trying to battle each other, but we're all going in the revolution.
And to get to sort of the track listing here, I mean, Ras Kass, Raekwon, Prodigy, Rock Marciano. You don't see a lot of these people on other independent labels, and not labels really, other independent albums, mainly because you can't get all those people. The money's sometimes tight, that kind of thing. Explain how you got all these people to jump on the record with you.
Prodigy just came home from jail, and I had been keeping in touch with him while he was in there, letters and on the phone and stuff. So when I asked him to do that, it really, Alchemist helped, of course. He didn't seem to have a problem with doing it fast for me, so I was really ill. Rock Marcy, I was working with him a lot. I'm on his album, verse on that, coming up his next album. It was just easy to get that. Everything was really easy to get. Really wasn't that hard because being in the right place at the right time.
One of my favorite songs on there is James Hendrix. Is that a sample of what we're going to see with the Step Brothers?
Yeah, So Fresh, Far Left, and James Hendrix. We've been doing a bunch of stuff. We've been doing a lot of features lately, and then just Step at that. All of these songs are dope, and we just been calling it Step Brothers every time we rap together, so that's what it is. It's just a lot of verses, not as many choruses. My songs aren't as long, and like a lot of musical instrument beds in between them all. So it's kind of like on some Beastie Boys on Weed meet MF Doom.
With the track listing, the album in general, what's to you your favorite song on Cats and Dogs?
Well, it varies. I like performing certain songs more than others. I like listening to certain ones more than others. Like some have more of a place as an individual component. Some fit the record better. I'm all over the place with that one. It wasn't me. It was really good to perform. It's been like Best Response Live. I don't need love. Too as well. That one's a little more personal, so it's not like I just want to ride out for it all the time. I don't know how to explain it. Different moods for different songs, maybe. Or I like the intro a lot. I don't know. Just shot a video for that. Falling Down is anthemic. Well Runs Dry is honest. A lot of different ones. Fame is a banger. Different ones for different reasons.
And I Don't Need Love, and I'll go back to it. You have a certain flow to it. Just to read a couple of your words. A trash every girl had since. I don't need love. I need pressure, pain in my veins, feeling so electric. Explain sort of, and I know you said it's sort of a personal topic, what exactly that song was to you.
Well, it's a story loosely, and it's just like being all over the place, up and down. Talk about what happened when my mom passed away, where I was, how that ended up affecting my relationship with pretty much with women, and then a couple wordplay lines and some nostalgic stuff. I think that's pretty honest, but it's still hard enough where it doesn't feel like a lack of a better.
Do you feel like the game sort of went from this the rap game, especially here on the underground? We look at both mainstream and the underground music and mainstream music. I've sort of tended to lean towards now going into where rappers sort of tell their emotions. It used to be completely negative. There'd be no draw to that of telling your emotions, telling how you're feeling. Now you see sort of that being almost respected and sort of going towards. Do you see that happening?
I mostly agree. I mean, you'd have that, it was more that. It was more like guarded, but then they'd all have a love song on the album where you're like, for the whole album, shoot 'em up, and then I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's like an R&B joint on a lot of rap albums. It was more of a guarded era, not smiling and people not smiling in pictures as much. Like the Far Side kind of had a lot to do with that changing. I mean, Biz Markie, there was people always who clowned, but yeah, you're right. For the most part, it was that. But to be honest, it was a harder, at least if I'm going to look at where I grew up, it was a lot more rough then than it is now in my neighborhood. My area is gentrified, not to say that other people that got displaced aren't somewhere existing. I'm just saying that people that are just still were. So if I'm going to compare it to that, then yeah, it's not as, even though it's more of a drop financially right now, it seems like not as gangster of an era right now. That could be me just seeing my environment, or how I see it, or because I'm living in a house now, I don't see it as much. But for me, it doesn't seem as hard of a time. Maybe it's because you've seen gangster rappers grow up, what Ice Cube comes later in life as kids and does acts. At one time, he was like, ill. You know what I'm saying? Or in my mind. So maybe, I don't know, maybe rap has evolved. I'm not saying that people aren't going through it. They are. I think it's a lot more obvious right now to see who those people are.
You say Cats and Dogs sort of refers to how you want to be in an interview, and then also how you want to be on stage performing. Sort of explain that mantra.
Well, I guess goes back to your last question. I'm the young one of my crew. So when I was 15, crew was 18, and at that time you want to be older, you want to be younger. I had a high voice, but I wanted to rap low. So I would do all kind of like slow the records down and do all kind of stuff to make me go lower. Then I got older, and then my voice got lower, and then I wanted to be younger again. So then I started rapping up high, and then I didn't like that as much, and trying to figure that out. And then I just got to, the way I talk, the way I do interviews, should be the way I rap on stage, should be the same voice that gets in the booth. And then as soon as I kind of landed on that, the end of Weatherman time was when I kind of just do what I do now. There's nothing extra on it anymore. Maybe a little bit because you got to spit, but it's not extra. And at one time it was like you talked to me on the phone. It wasn't the same as I sounded when I got on the mic.
And I can sort of hear what you're saying with that. As far as underground music, we look at but
I'm glad I evolved publicly. It just was what it was. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been rapping since I was young. And if you listen to Outkast, they sound different.
Yep. Eminem, people that have been around for a while, they all
change their sound. Eminem is definitely a lot of public evolution. It's great. Don't get mad at people for that.
We sort of tend to look at not only the trends, but what's going on in underground and mainstream music. In the underground, you tend to get a lot of songs that are probably a little heartfelt, probably a little more truthful, a little more honest. And mainstream tends right now to be like lots of, radio songs. It doesn't really feel like rappers are into it as much as well. Tell us what your thoughts are on the difference between mainstream and underground.
Mainstream, go to a club, wear some stuff, and get drunk, meet somebody. Other stuff is clean your house to it. Take a drive to it or whatever. I mean, music should find you everywhere. I don't want to hear a lot of the music. I would hope that DJ wouldn't play a lot of the music I make in a lot of those popular environments because it's not created for that. I don't want to clear the dance floor. I want no disrespect to any of those people making the music, but it's not the deepest stuff. I'm not saying that a lot of not easy to do because a lot of technical stuff goes into that. A lot of people wouldn't even know where to begin. The mixing of those records are incredible, and the engineers and how they're done, and like a lot of it's sonic as hell. But I would definitely take a record with emotion that's not mixed properly over and sonic is not touching me to begin with. Like I said, there's a time and a place for that. stuff, and that's why it's made. I respect LMFAO, who's Red Foo, who's my homie who was doing hip-hop beats forever, just who's now like on top of the world, and Will.i.am, as much as I respect other people as well. They're doing what they do well.
Being that as it
we just don't have to collaborate. But actually, Will and I did collaborate, and it worked out dope. He erased that.
I think that Will kind of, when he gets with guys like, when he gets with you or some other rapper, that he brings out more of his skills, more like when he started off than his Black Eyed Peas persona.
Yeah, but at least he shows he can do both.
Yeah.
And it may be a different set of skills in the Black Eyed Peas. I feel like he'd be probably more of a mixer, more, trying to throw in things of that nature. Do you have any aspirations to be a mainstream artist?
I guess a lot of rappers say no to sound cool, but I just know. Not right now.
Yeah.
Not unless it happens. Not unless I do a song like You by Premier and it just goes crazy and it's meant to be. And then, yeah. But if not, no. On a label, I know what it's like to have a station that doesn't want you there and you get put there because your label is doing whatever they're supposed to be doing to get you there. And it's just not like a welcoming feeling. And I'm not saying that everything is easy and you're supposed to just have open doors for you everywhere you go, but I would just rather get in where I fit in right now. I found a way to make money doing it, so it's a career for me, so it's my job more than I can say for a lot of people right now, so I'm grateful for that, and that's it. I do want to sell out shows. I do want people to drive by, whether it's a small venue or a big one, and say, what the hell is going on there tonight? And then they look up and there's evidence. You know what I mean? Or dilated. Definitely what I want. My goal more than it is to be on television or radio.
And just looking at some of the people you've worked with, have you made it, I'll shout out a couple, Pac Div, Blue, Tyron, Kendrick Lamar. Have you made it sort of your, I guess, sort of a goal to work with some of the younger acts on the West Coast?
I already have. Blue and Bash and, I haven't worked with Kendrick Lamar, but he came over here to the studio with Alchemist. I'm in the presence of a lot of those people. I just did a show with Dom Kennedy the other night. You and I know them dudes. You know our group right now. I'm sure anybody you name, if I don't know them or I haven't worked or talked to them, I'm a degree or two separation away from them. But it's not. That's another thing that kind of bothers me when you see somebody who doesn't really know much about what's going on right now, especially somebody from a generation, one or two up, and then just start kind of talk about it a lot to look relevant. It looks funny. Some people actually do know and stuff that you could tell, but some people don't. I always kind of go with that a little bit. I'm not going to ramble on them. I'm new. As far as I'm concerned, there's a big world out there, and a lot of people haven't heard of me.
That's evidence you're hearing right there. He's here on Live from the Underground, D-Block, and Just Do It. We appreciate you so much coming on, and I know you have a Twitter page, but I want you to get all the shout-outs that you can right now and tell us what you're going to be up to here in the future.
I'm going to Europe early November with Atmosphere, Brother Ali, Reeves and Budo, and Blueprint. It's going to be a crazy tour. First official Rhyme Sayers European tour. We're all going to be on the bus. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going around. I'm going to stay out there and do the Cannabis Cup with Dilated this year in Amsterdam after that's over, and then fly right back and do How the Grouch Stole Christmas tour, primarily on the West Coast and Midwest state of the U.S., so that's going to be dope. All the way throughout December, and then end of January, hopefully, setting up my first U.S. solo headlining tour to promote Cats and Dogs. After that, back to the studio. So got a nice plan ahead of me, and I'm excited about it. Just came off to his Atmosphere for almost 2 months, and that was a really great success. So rhymesayers.com/evidence. All tour dates are up and other information.
Okay. Brian Soar. And do you have Twitter?
Yeah.
I think you do.
Yeah,
I thought so.
Evidence.
Add evidence. Yeah, I thought, okay, I was just making sure. I'm making sure that I highlight it.
It's really hard to get that, by the way.
Go ahead.
Technology.
Exactly. Evidence here with us from Live from the Underground, D-Block and Just Do It. We appreciate you so much coming on, and we'll be back after this break.